Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele. Francis, here to talk to you about episode 15 of The Challenge, season 38. And I did have a couple glasses of wine. Was this a really good episode? Because I was really in it. I thought it was amazing. And I have my co-host here, Michelle, here to talk about it. How did you feel about it, Michelle? And how are you?
I'm all right. Honestly, it was great. In terms of the fact that I was very on edge for multiple points and was like literally just like, oh my God, like didn't want to look, was so scared for things. There's a lot of great stuff happening. And I just laughed because I saw Matthew's name and I agree. Leave her alone. Like what? Everything has to be we hate Amber. Like, we'll get into it, but I agree. Like, leave the girl alone. Come on.
Well, Mr. Leave Amber Alone himself, Matthew, how are you doing today? Overall thoughts of the episode?
Yeah, I thought it was a really fun episode. I was also surprised as well. I mean, I thought we were for sure getting set up for Amber and Chauncey versus Olivia and Horacio. So when they pulled the safe dagger at the end, my jaw kind of hit the floor because I did not see that coming at all. I thought it was just going to be the chalk result where one of Tori, Devin, Anissa, or Jordan would pull the safe dagger. Um, Ultimately, we ended up losing one of my favorite teams left, if not my favorite. So I'm a little upset about that. But no, I thought it was a pretty strong episode, and like glad things are back to normal on the kind of like scheduling front and the proper elimination front.
Absolutely.
And we saw Kaycee go home for the first time ever, so that's exciting.
Let's get to it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so when we get to the not so fast elimination, like we were speculating before, like last episode, like who's gonna win, who's gonna come back. We didn't. I don't remember what we all decided.
I have to eat my words times 5,000.
Okay, let me hear you eat your words, Michelle.
I was like, I think I said at least 95% sure that there was no way Anissa and Jordan were going to take that one. It was a classic. Like they just did so much better with their knots, and it was truly. Sorry, I have to sneeze, so you guys keep talking. But yeah, I have to eat my words. I was completely wrong, and I couldn't have been happier to be wrong.
It could have been happier to be wrong. I was watching that elimination, and I was actually being like, wait, okay, the edits, they're saying this. Is that what the edit is? Okay, they're saying this. I was literally going back and forth with what I thought the edit was telling us. I'm like, wait, is the edit not showing me who's gonna win here? Like, I don't know. Like, I kept on going back and forth the whole time, and then we started seeing, in my opinion, now that I've known the outcome, Jordan and Anissa winning at it, when they're like, they focused on them for a really long time about like what we saw in the preview where it's like, you could do it, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of went into a little bit more depth with like, don't say you can, because you can. And I was like, wait, hold on. The music's starting to swell. We have not seen Kaycee and Kenny at all. Like this, okay, so this is about Jordan really helping Anissa overcome something to get this win. I'm like, oh my goodness, I was wrong many times in this elimination. Matthew, how are you feeling through it all?
Last week when we were like talking out, I was like slightly leaning Jordan and Issa, but I was like very torn. I was like 55-45. And the reason was just because I just could not see Jordan losing anything to Kenny, like regardless of Kaycee and Anissa being there. And in true Kenny fashion, even as he's going out the door, he is being taken out of the edit, which was just hilarious. Jordan, like the whole elimination for the most part is just Jordan and Anissa, like you said, like their journey through this challenge. Jordan kind of supporting Anissa getting emotional. I felt like we saw more of Nany and Bananas in the stands than we did of Kaycee and Kenny in the challenge, which I thought was just pretty hilarious considering like the edit that Kenny has gotten throughout the season. So I was like really happy with how it played out. I was slightly leaning there. I did think, and it was alluded to throughout the challenge, it's kind of the like endurance versus strategy. And strategy obviously won out here, and it seemed
Yeah.
like it was not super close. But I think they made it look closer than it was. But if you
Yeah.
saw the ropes at the end, it looked like it was not very close.
And also, like, I saw a comment that talks about how, oh, Kaycee finally got sent home for the first time. She's never been eliminated from any show she's been on.
That's true.
Can we take that in? She's never had to feel defeat on one of these shows, ever. She's always made it to the end, even if she hasn't won, and she has won. And so it's a necessary step in your challenge career, if you're going to have a challenge career, to have wins and losses. And like, then people ride for you. They've seen you fail. If we only see you not fail, we don't ride for you.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Because now she's got a storyline to go on next
True.
season, right?
Come back to redemption. Does that mean that we want Kenny to come back for his redemption season as well?
So,
yeah,
Kenny is not coming back. I think that's near certainty. But I think
did DJ say anything about Kenny coming back? I don't think he said anything about either of them.
I don't think so. No, Kaycee will be back, like definitely. But I think this actually bodes well for Kaycee. Unfortunately, moving forward, I think it makes her look like she is maybe no. It makes her
Or
look like she's not invisible. Yeah, she's kind of humanized. When in reality, like the reason she went home is because her brother kind of sucks. I'm sure if she had a like confident partner, like she probably would have won this. But the fact that like she was with her brother, and she can't be mad about that. Like it's a shitty situation, but like I mean, your brother got the opportunity. You're gonna come back, maybe look a little less threatening. And I'd be pretty surprised if Kaycee didn't go very far next season when she inevitably comes back.
Do you think Fessy's got the ick and like does not want Kaycee as his partner anymore?
I don't think so.
I'm sure he would love her as a partner.
I think he'd still love her as a partner.
Okay, no ick for. So one thing that was when I was watching though this elimination, I was really like trying to figure out who was going to win before we saw who actually wins. And there was a point where Kaycee and Kenny had a dual confessional, and Kenny was just like this. He was just like,
I noticed that too. Mm-hmm. And every time it was Aneesa and Jordan, it was solo interviews. But for them, it was together.
So that's why I was thinking that when I started thinking that Kaycee and Kenny were going to lose, because he was not feeling, it didn't seem like he was being animated. And as far as we know, they filmed these after they actually, the elimination happens. And so they're going back in time. And so he was going back in time, in my opinion. I was like, Kaycee knows how to put it on and pretend like you don't know if she won or lost. And he's like, yeah, you know, that's exactly right. It's true.
He's a funny character. Like, honestly, I mean, I don't think he really added a lot to the season, but I don't dislike him in any way. And I'm not mad that he was there. And I'm kind of happy that it brought Kaycee down a couple notches for now. And also because like if she had gotten back in, like that was what was annoying me the most, is I was like, it's just an extra layer of protection for Fessy. Turns out it doesn't matter. He's protected no matter freaking what. But like in my mind, I was like, oh, like I would just love to have another team in there who's not just protecting Fessy.
So one thing though that I was also I heard when Jordan was saying to Aneesa, "Don't say you can't, you can." My dad actually used to say this to me, and I remember when I was like 4 years old, he looked at me and he's like, "Never say you can't, because you always can. Don't say you can't, because you can." And like it's been ringing in my ears for like 40 years. Like, don't say you can't, because you can. And like that's where it was taking me back when I was seeing Jordan motivate Aneesa. And we thought it might have been a way that she wasn't going to receive, but we do learn after this elimination that she did receive it, and she was pretty emotional about the fact that he was motivating her and he was never allowing her to quit, and she was able to come through here. So I gotta say, I was pretty happy for them and pretty impressed by the fact that she was able to to get through it. Because remember, I was saying like, you know, it was going to be probably kind of equally matched in the sense that they could go. Kaycee and Kenny could be like on the ground or going up and down and making it very difficult for Aneesa to go through. I don't know if they actually did that with the ropes, but that would have been a way to really hold them back. And Jordan and Aneesa, though, they were able to do whatever knots that Kaycee and Kenny did because they really came through. So I was pretty happy, pretty impressed in the end with how Aneesa performed. And you know, we can't say that like her size and her weight and her, you know, focus is not going to be able to get her through, because she definitely proved it in this elimination. I was impressed. I was actually impressed. After, how'd you feel about Nany running down to hug Kaycee? And it was so tearful because
like, see you in a week. Like, it's almost over. It's okay. But also, like, obviously, like in such a high pressure situation, you want to have that person there with you, that moral support, and also because, you know, everything that's happened in her life recently and everything. But I'm like, it's okay. You're going to be fine. And she is fine. She's more than fine. She's slaying. Our Nany keeps on going.
I think that was Bananas that was saying, oh man, thank God the teams are over. It was a bad dream. He understands the audience, because like it was a bad dream. Those teams were awful. Why did that happen? I'm so much happier since the teams have been dissolved.
Yeah.
I loved during the elimination when where Aneesa's like, oh my cooch, and the whole time Bananas just dying laughing while Nany's like biting her nails, like freaking out that Kaycee's in the elimination, and it just keeps panning over to them, and like he's like repeatedly laughing for like 30 seconds. And like, oh, she said, "Ow, my cooch," and Nany's like in tears right next to him.
It was such a good moment. Yeah, I caught that.
Yeah,
that was great.
I thought this was a really fun episode for like Banana, who like honestly like I have not been enjoying as much as some others. I know that, but I thought it was like a really fun episode for them, and there was like some good one-liners, like some good emotional moments too. So like really like nice, well-rounded episode for them, and it just like, started off on a very funny note with Bananas there.
Macooch! All right, we know how to make sure that Banana starts laughing is by talking about Aneesa's cooch. So after the elimination, we cut back to Mariah and Fessy speaking about their relationship in teams. And why can't Fessy just be like, listen, Mariah, I was a jerk to you. I'm really sorry about it. But we're back together now. Like, I need to apologize. I did bring you here as like my ride or die, and I didn't really respect you as a player and a person. Like, why couldn't he just say that? Instead, he's like, she's like, oh, like, he's like, I had a bad taste in my mouth with what you did, and I felt betrayed, and
nothing is ever his fault. Just take accountability, like,
please,
any ounce of it. And this is what always will annoy me about him. I'm like, just apologize. And like, I don't know, whoever listened to the podcast with Josh on it, I didn't listen to it because I can't, but I saw like Mariah's responses and everything. And it's just like, Fessy on the show did not treat her well. We all saw it. And she can be two things. She can be grateful that he got her this opportunity and still be like, I need to be respected. You know, like both things can be true. And I just don't understand, like, you're allowed to just treat this person like absolute dog crap because you brought them there. And like, then as soon as you thought that you weren't on teams anymore, you threw her away. Turns out the show's called Ride or Dies for a reason, and you were supposed to actually care about your ride or die.
Be friends with them again. Oh,
but you're actually not ride or dies because you barely knew each other. So I don't know, just very annoying.
I would love a situation where next week, because I imagine next week will be the final like proper elimination. I'd love a situation where like Fessy and Mariah wind up in there, probably against Horacio and Olivia, which I think is pretty realistic. Like, isn't hard to imagine that being the case. And I would love to see just the situation where they lose because of Fessy, and just to like see how he responds to that.
We might be setting up for this.
Yeah, like I think that would just be an incredible end of their arc where Fessy's just kind of been treating Mariah pretty shitty throughout the season. Like, we know they're not really like that close to begin with. And just to like see a scenario where like he is so close to a final where like for all it's worth, like if they made a final, like they would have a decent shot. Um,
Absolutely.
and if they get just short, and it's him that is why they lose, and
Yeah.
Look
Horacio,
at her,
that's
like
like the
we have
new
like
kid on the
Cheshire
block.
grins over here, like
Yeah.
Yeah, the new kid on the block who like Fessy is like now just like becoming impressed with after 5 elimination wins, like sends him home in his rookie season. I think it would just be so poetic, and like I'm
oh,
really hoping that's the case.
I
I would
mean,
pray. We'll
it's
I my
see.
worry, my one worry is because I'm thinking it's the final challenge, like it's just gonna end up being a hall brawl. And that is what I'm
another
really
one. Will
scared
it be a
about.
double-decker one again or no?
But they already did that. I don't know. I don't know. I think that it won't be a hall brawl. I'm going to hold out hope, A. But B, based on the preview, I think there's a high chance Fessy and Mariah are going to win this daily. And if they do win it, that's the whole thing that because they showed in the preview Mariah being like, obviously I want to save Bananas and Nany. And Fessy's like, we got to play the game. And Devin's
do
obviously.
you think it's the save though because they're all in the draw?
Yeah, I was thinking it's
Oh,
the
could be
dad.
that. Okay, you're right. You know what? Yes, could be that. Could be that. So in that case, I hope Chance just goes against them and they have to go in. Like that would be
It
amazing.
means that Benani is not in the draw. They're
Yeah.
not winning next episode.
But let's be real here. Even if there was a hall brawl, I will say this. Obviously, Fessy's going to win, whoever he's against. But like, if you have a hall brawl and you have a Mariah against an Anissa who's now being trained by Jordan, for example, or you have her against a Tori who's won a hall brawl against Jenny, or you have her against
I don't know if
Olivia,
I
who's
trust-
scrappy as hell.
I don't know if I trust Mariah winning a hall brawl.
I don't know if I trust her to like have that what you need to win a hall brawl. And so honestly, like, and if we don't know, like, unless it's like, okay, the guy can go twice, then okay, fine, it's done. But like, we don't know what it's going to be. So I'm going to hold out hope that something's going to go awry.
You really want to put it out there that Mariah's going to lose the hall brawl for Fessy? I mean, it's also kind of good that he couldn't win the hall brawl because like his partner, that's not so bad. But I just don't want him to blame her, which like would definitely suck as well. But Mariah just wants to let go of everything and move forward. I'm definitely with Thana here, Team Mariah for sure. And like I don't want Mariah to win the season because I can't have Fessy win the season. I know there's a lot of people that want Nany to win, but they don't want Bananas to win, so they don't want either of them to win. But I just can't have Fessy win this season. It's too awful for me. It's too bad. No, please no. I hope that's
or have them win, but do like a rivals thing, choose the money, and Mariah like somehow gets higher points than him and just takes everything from him.
Oh,
But then he'll still have like a win.
No, but no, he would be so salty.
That would also be hilarious.
Like I had the most points. You didn't treat me really well as a ride or die. Like you brought me here, but you didn't really make me feel welcome here. So I'm taking the money.
She would split the money though.
Of course she would split the money. But if she did
that,
she would be like people would be like raising her like on like chariots. Be like, Mariah.
Then she's definitely perfect for Bananas. That would be awesome.
Perfect for Bananas and definitely gets a call back regardless of maybe it's Bananas' tutelage.
Yeah.
What if he's like, if this is the case, take the money from him. Like, what if she does? He's like saying this and whispering sweet nothings of like, screw Fessy over if you get the chance.
I wouldn't be surprised
if he's saying this, or if this is how it turns out.
No. If I don't think it's going to turn out that way, but if it were like if they were in that position, I wouldn't be surprised if Bananas was like in her ear telling her just take the money. Fessy would definitely take the money from her. Yeah, Fessy winning would not be super fun. To be honest, I'm like not really looking forward to most of these teams winning. Like someone's got to win. I am pulling for Olivia and Horacio, but
I don't think that's happening.
I can see it. You don't think it's happening?
Well, okay. The reason why I don't think it's happening is because they've really fallen out of the storyline. Like
Yeah.
the beginning of the season, it was all about them staying in. We were on that ride. Like, okay, how are they doing? How are they doing? And now it just doesn't seem like they're part of the storyline of whatever the end game is here. So unless something switches up next episode,
I think I'm gonna make my choice after like the next episode because I agree with you. But yeah, sometimes they switch it around weirdly and they make it seem, like how Danny like wasn't getting a winner's edit really. Even right towards the end, he wasn't really getting a winner's edit. And so maybe they're not editing it that way. Who knows? I would love to see them in the final. I'd be very happy for them to win. I don't know that a rookie pair has really won, at least not in a long, long time. So that would be amazing. For me, I would be very happy with a Tori Devin win, even though I know it's not likely. I'd be super happy for Nany, Bananas, I don't really care. Obviously devastated, heartbroken if Fessy's team wins. And those are all the teams. Oh, and Anissa and Jordan, I mean, I loved their arc for both of these eliminations tonight. And I would be happy for them, but I just don't see it in the cards.
I don't see it in the cards for either.
I can see Tori and Devin winning.
I
don't
think
think
would love
they're
that.
going to say Anissa and Jordan. It's like
No, I think Anissa and Jordan can't win. I do think Bananas and Nany could obviously win. I think Tori and Devin could. I think, and then Fessy and Mariah obviously could as well. Olivia and Horacio, I think like theoretically could win. The thing that's giving me pause on them is like there's been this like not even so much the airtime because like rookies just typically will get less airtime than like big name vets, especially like and all the big name vets like stayed in the game till the end game essentially. So I don't think that's that unusual. But the thing that's giving me pause is we've constantly heard Olivia saying like Horacio cracks under pressure. And we haven't seen him crack under pressure really to this point.
it was
So
just
I'm
that
feeling
car
like
challenge where they're going back and forth.
But that was such a small moment.
I agree.
yeah. So I feel like there's something like bigger potentially coming like down the road. Like maybe they really like fuck up like a part of the final where like they can't figure out a puzzle or they kind of gas out at some point. So that's kind of giving me
You don't
pause.
think
Otherwise,
that
it would be very
maybe
weird.
that soundbite of her being like, oh, he buckles under pressure is not alluding to him buckling under pressure in the final?
No, I do think it probably is.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, and I think so too. And also like you can be as athletic as you want, and I think this is why rookie teams like never win. Like sometimes rookies win, but usually they're with somebody else because you just need to know. I can imagine if you do multiple finals that like you're gonna get to a point where you feel like you can't do it anymore, but you've done it so you know you can, so you do it. And your first time, it's just so hard to know how far to push your body because it's such a different type of thing that I both Horacio and Olivia, they just haven't experienced it. So it's an uphill battle for them for sure. But it would be so cool to have them win, especially if they like just beat Fessy or something like that. That would be awesome.
This is just funny to me, but Natalie says, "Sorry, Michelle, I'm not a Miley Cyrus fan. Are you wearing a Miley Cyrus shirt?"
Not even the new song.
I don't know.
I can buy myself flowers. That's so good.
I don't know the song.
Oh my God, just came out a couple days ago.
Waiting that down.
Girl, it is not 2010. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know the new song though.
Okay, her new song is amazing. It just came out a couple days ago. Give her a chance.
I'm not even against Miley Cyrus because I actually like that song. What is it? Party in the USA.
Yeah. I mean, I understand she's not everyone's cup of tea, but that's why I like her.
I will listen to this song after so I know what the reference is from. So Nany is crying with Bananas, obviously about her girlfriend going home. And I did like how Bananas was like, hey, like whatever, however you were supported by Kaycee, you can have me here as your support system. And that at that point, I was like, there was a shift with the energy of Banani's team. And I'm wondering if this is now them cultivating Nany's emergence without Kaycee, with Bananas as her support system. Like, let Nany win the season. So I thought that this was the emergence for this season of a potential Nany's winner edit.
Potentially.
Potentially.
I don't want to get my hopes up because every time I've gotten my hopes up with her, like with Leroy and her double eight, like
I didn't think that Nany was going to win that one. I was hoping that Leroy would win, but I didn't think that Nany was going to win.
But like, I just had so much hope, and even for him, right? Like, it's that same feeling where, like, I like them both so much, right? It's like, and you want them to have this. You want them to have. They've both gotten second place, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't want to get myself excited that it's possible, but I agree that the edit was definitely leaning in that direction. It seemed.
Matthew, what do you think? You were nodding, but is that something you're anti Nany Banani win, or do you not think it was the winner's edit being started?
I don't know. I like definitely could be a winner's edit, but just because it's Bananas and Nany, like I'm not fully sold. Like I think regardless of win or lose, like they would get this edit because of who they are and like their characters they represent on the show. Um, so I'm not necessarily convinced. I mean, we've seen like Nany with these great edits before, like even as recently as last season where her story ended with Kaycee taking her out in the final elimination of the season. So I could see a situation definitely where they win. I could also see like a situation they come in second or third, or they lose just before the finals, and it's like Nany Bananas just being there for Nany and it not just being about the game. Like I could see that being a really satisfying conclusion to
It's
this
not
season for them as well.
satisfying, but I can see it being conclusive.
Yeah.
Satisfying. I think I'm not sure who I'd be satisfied with the most to win. It would probably be Horacio and Olivia. That would probably be the most satisfying win. Or Nany and Bananas. So if they don't win, I just don't see it being that satisfying unless it's Horacio and Olivia, you know? I don't like, I mean, I don't at this point, other than Fessy and Mariah, I don't really mind anybody winning. And I think I could get behind that episode and that the season like arc. But I think I really want Nany to win. I just want to see her happy. They're talking about her mom again, and her, Kaycee leaving like, do it for your mom. Don't worry, your mom's here watching you. Like all of that. I just can't see why they would leave that in the edit if that wasn't how it came to fruition in the end. But I could be wrong. Like MTV does their own things. They don't listen to me with what I think is going to be a great arc. But right now, I do feel like it's a Nany win edit.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you guys feel about where's TJ? Where's TJ? And all of a sudden the runaway ride daily comes around the corner where, TJ steps off the bus. And I had to say for myself, I watched this challenge on Australia's season and I didn't even remember the Australian season. It was more captivating. They either edited it better or people in the bus were better. But Matthew, how'd you feel about the difference between this and the Australian version and how it played out?
Yeah, honestly, the Australian one is kind of a blur to me. I don't remember like much of the differences. I remember they did this challenge or a similar thing here. I thought this one was pretty good. I thought it was a little strange. Like at first, like the first couple of teams, I think it was Amber, Chauncey, and Olivia and Horacio. It seemed like they showed like the whole run for them. And then all the other ones they kind of like sped through, which I don't have a problem with. Like if you're gonna speed through them, that's fine. But my one concern, my one issue with this challenge was did Olivia and Horacio not get 10 out of 10? Because it looked like they did, and then they never said anything about them not getting one right, or like it seemed like they went very fast. They had 10 out of 10. And then when they were given the results at the end, TJ was just like, and the one team that killed it was Bananas and Nany with 10 out of 10. And I was like, wait, did Olivia and Horacio not get 10 out of 10? Can we get like a little clarity on that, because
They must
it
not
seemed like they
have,
did really well.
because TJ was making a point of saying, like, if you have the same whatever amount of balls, it would go down to time. So if it was talking about how many you got correct, that means that everybody didn't get it correct for whatever reason. I do find it sus that they didn't actually just be like 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and 9 out of
Yeah.
10. Like, Banani, you win. So I don't know why they weren't more transparent with how that went down.
Yeah, they showed the amount everyone got except for Olivia and Horacio, and then Bananas and Nany, who seemingly both got 10 out of 10. So I get that, like, they wanted to keep the suspense there. But I kind of wish, like TJ said, like, Olivia and Horacio, like, you guys killed it, but one of your colors was wrong. Like, I wish we knew that, because it
Mhm.
did feel a little sus that, like, Nany and Bananas are getting this like great edit, and then, oh look, they won a challenge where two teams seemingly got 10 out of 10. Again, like, I like to think there's no like rigging or nothing like weird about what's going on, but I just like wish we could see or hear at least like what the outcome was when it looks like both teams got 10 out of 10.
Mhm.
I totally agree that we always want transparency. And watching the circle and talking about it this afternoon, I was realizing, like, I really like transparency. And we're talking about, like, why can't they just show us what everybody rated? Like, even after, like, so you got this surprise of what the blocking is. Like, I want to know how everybody rated, and so I can see, like, oh, like, if they put this person third, this person fourth. Like, I want to see the numbers. I want to see the math. I want to know what went down. I want to know, I just want to be able to see it from my own perspective. And so I just really hate how the producers think that it's more suspenseful and more interesting not having all the facts, because I
Mhm.
love facts. I love information, and they never want to give us any of it. And when they did, like, that I don't know if it was last episode or the episode before, when they did that daily where we got to see the time and like how much time and who had more time, who had less time. I was like, oh, I love it. I love it. We were all really sated and satiated by it. And yeah, they went back to their old ways, which really was annoying for sure. A lot of people found that this bus challenge was nauseating. So Amber was working through vomit, I think it was. Same with Tori. Tori actually ended up barfing at the end of the comp. She pulled her like to end the competition early before Devin could check the work. So I believe they only got 8 out of 10. I think, though, how to do this challenge effectively would be one person was the eyes and the other person was kind of moving around. So I think that they were both like, some Banani end up using the strategy that they were going to stay close to the wall. And so that makes sense to me as well. But I was thinking, like, just one person be the eyes and one person like finds these balls, and like maybe the other person's like pointing out, okay, get that ball next, that ball next. I think that that might have been the effective strategy, but I'm not sure. Michelle, you had a thought?
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I thought that Banani did the closest job of having that kind of strategy because like Nani mainly memorized the thing. And then and she would hand them to him and he was good at like staying put in the right area to be able to pop them in the right spots. But yeah, my first thought was like, yeah, one person, because I was like, how are they seeing the thing? Like it's so like they're just driving by it. Like I was like, how are they remembering it? There's no way that these people are remembering the right color. So yeah, I think it was pretty clear based on the editing for me that Bananas and Nani just did it a lot faster.
Well, they only had one pass around the track, apparently. So no matter what, that's going to be fastest time. And if they got them all correct, like, definitely fastest.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe it was also fastest time and all 10 correct. But I agree with you, Matthew, though. They should have just told us, how did they win? Did they
They
win
should
by
have said two
time?
teams got the right thing. This team and this team came down to time, and now it's this person. Yeah.
Like, why do they want us to be like questioning their motives? And just be transparent with us, please, MTV. But
Yeah. Yeah, and it was weird, like, because TJ said one team killed it. It's like, well, didn't two teams kill it? Like, everyone else, like, stopped, like, they pulled the lever after, like, 7 or whatever. I think Anissa and Jordan only did one and then pulled the lever. But we definitely saw Horacio and Olivia completed all 10. So yeah, if they got one wrong, just tell us. It's gonna make the fans less suspicious. And I'm sure, I don't know if like maybe he told the players what had happened, but it's like we would like to know as well.
Well, TJ says head and shoulders above the rest. 10
Mm.
correct is Banani. So Bananas and Nany are going to win this daily. I thought it was actually kind of an interesting daily. I thought it was going to be boring considering I'd already seen it before, but I thought it was interesting. Obviously, as we mentioned a gazillion times, I wish that there was more transparency, but now we learn that Bananis are going to have to select a pair to save. So a little bit of a twist on how this elimination is going to work. And then also selecting a pair that's going to go directly into the zone, directly into elimination. So who immediately do you think that Bananis should be saving here out of the teams that are left?
My thought immediately was they're going to save Fessy and Mariah.
I know.
I knew this, obviously, because they know that Aneesa and Tori are going to save each other. And so saving Fessy and Mariah makes sense, so that they can save them back. Obviously, the connection between Mariah and Bananas as well doesn't hurt, but I think strategically for them, it makes the most sense. I like kind of disagree with it, just in that A, obviously personal reasons, but B, because the more that you keep them out of elimination, someone like Fessy, he's that person, he's that CT version of the biggest person who's left, who, if you let them to a final, like, I mean, yeah, obviously he's never secured it yet. And I guess Bananas is just that confident. But I also think that, like, he's got a partner as strong as Mariah. I mean, the only thing standing in their way, if you just let them go to the end, is like puzzles, stuff with the brain.
And Fessy's not dumb. Like, I know.
No, he's not dumb. That's what I'm saying.
I know we want him to be dumb, but he's actually not.
No,
dumb.
he's actually like decent at that stuff too. He's not like a Wes at puzzles or a Devin at puzzles. You know, like he's not like amazing, but like, and I don't think Mariah's that great at them from what we've seen necessarily. But like, yeah, it's I don't know. I was hoping that they wouldn't, but I was like, they're going to.
Well, if they didn't, who would you have hoped that they would have saved?
I would say personally, I knew they were never going to save Olivia and Horacio, but that's who I would want, or Tori and Devin, I guess.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping they would save Tori and Devin, just because I think that would have set up a lot of compelling situations for the elimination. The only thing is, with not saving Fessy and Mariah, I think there's a pretty strong chance Fessy and Mariah would have ended up in the elimination. And probably not the best look for Bananas if he gets his showmance directly into an elimination. Like, I don't think he wouldn't put her in, but I do think like Horacio and Olivia pull the dagger. They realistically could put Fessy and Mariah in. And then if Jordan and Aneesa were to pull the dagger, I think they definitely would have put Fessy and Mariah in. So I do think it was probably the right decision how they handled it, especially for Bananas. I mean, it's just like going to be a really bad look if you like put Mariah in such danger. But I was hoping that Tori and Devin were going to be the safe pair there.
Well, I mean, I agree with you, Dabu, here that save Aneesa worse at endurance. I was thinking, like, yeah, you know what? Like, it's keep somebody that you wouldn't mind running the final with. But then I think that Bananas was thinking a one step further. And yes, like he's in a relationship of some sort with Mariah. So I don't think he wanted to be that a-hole he's not gonna pull a Nelson being like, hey babe, just come back, just win, you'll be good. But instead I think that he was hoping that this would curry some favor with Fessy, because we do see in the next episode where the preview where he's like, I'm the only person that's left on the season that hasn't been thrown in yet, and someone's like 7-time champ, and it's like, I think that maybe this could bode that Fessy and Mariah do win that next daily, and they're not going to throw Bananas in, A, because Mariah's dating him, and B, because they could have easily have put him into the draw and they didn't. So I think that he was just playing for the next week. What were we gonna say, Michelle?
No, I was just gonna say I wonder next week if they will actually not save Bananas and Nany, and
That's
that
also-
Fessy like walks all over her and makes her make that decision even though she doesn't want to, because she's talked so many times after the show about how she wishes she had spoken up more throughout the season. And we've seen it multiple times, but I think maybe that could be a thing, is that like if she allows them to not be saved and then by chance they have to go in, and then they lose. But like, hopefully that's not the case. That's all I can say. Hopefully that's not the case.
And
So
my
I guess go ahead.
speculation, sorry, just based on the preview, like what I was kind of speculating was I actually think Tori and Devin are gonna win the daily, because there was a little bit of a clip where Devin was saying like maybe we should go after Bananas now.
Right.
So I'm thinking maybe they're debating like whether they should make Bananas and Nany the house vote, and then ultimately, I don't think they will do that. And then it's going to be like Fessy and Bananas talking, like Fessy and Mariah debating, like if we pull the safe, like should we save Bananas? There was a line where Bananas said, I'm the only person that hasn't seen an elimination yet, which by the way is completely ridiculous and crazy that that's the case. But I was thinking like Devin and Tori get power, probably throw in Horacio and Olivia as the main vote. And then it's like that internal debate from Fessy and Mariah, like, should we save Bananas or should we save Jordan and Anissa?
I think they would save Bananas.
But I think that Fessy is
You think that Fessy would save Jordan?
Because I think that here's the thing.
Connection?
Fessy has always said that, like, not always. He's so new, but in this season, he has mentioned that Jordan is one of the only people that actually like intimidates him as an overall player. And I think he does recognize that having Jordan in a final means that's scary for sure.
Because if it's like guys against guys and girls against girls, who knows? Yeah.
If he's in the moment, like if it's a team effort and seeing how well Bananas and Nany have been doing, it's like, I think that Fessy will always discount Anissa so strongly that she can never win a final.
But do you think he'd go against Fessy and take out Nany, or take a stab at Nany?
Fessy? I mean, I don't think that he would do it in that way. Like, I think that like if it's just a save, I mean, I don't know. I think he will.
You don't think that maybe Kaycee was like, "Hey, Fessy, you and Nany are my people. Take care of each other. Get each other to the final."
He doesn't care in that way. Like, I think that like he's gonna say like, I need to get rid of Bananas, but I don't think he will and not because of loyalty. I think if he saves Bananas and Nany, it's because he is too scared of the heat and he's too scared to play to win. Playing to win is throwing them in, and if he did throw them in, I actually might have 2% more respect for him.
That's true, fair. Okay,
because I'd be like, throw in the people that you think are going to beat you.
I want to see him. I want to see him throw somebody in.
Do it and say, "Yeah, I have to do this." Don't sheep away. Don't that excuses. It's this person's fault, that person's fault. Just be like, it's the last elimination. There's no more game to be played. You're the last one. Like, I have to do this. Sorry, Nany. But like, I've never won, so I'm throwing you in. And then like embrace that feeling. Everyone can hate you a little bit more, and you can like change your storyline for the next season, like whatever he needs to do. But like that would, to me, make sense.
If he did that, I'd be impressed. I can't even see him doing that, but
I can't. I don't know.
I would be impressed.
Go back and forth.
So yeah, basically this is what was going down in the interrogation. Bananas and Nany were deciding it was best for them to save Fessy and Mariah. I think it's Bananas' play here to like potentially curry some favor, as I mentioned, with Fessy, so that if they get some power, they are not going to throw them in, and they would potentially want to save them because like, hey, like if there's another daily, maybe I'll get saved by them in the future. So I think I don't know. I think that it's going to work for Bananas because Bananas, we haven't seen him play the game this whole season, right? Like he's been living in the shadows. The format of the season has not made him have to play hard. He can throw challenge, he can do whatever he wants because he's been well insulated. I just feel as though that his strategy is going to have some sort of payoff, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens next week. I'm actually looking forward to see whether or not he gets thrown in or not, or if his strategy actually works and he gets to the fucking final without having to face an elimination. I want to see that either way. So I think we have a couple of very interesting future episodes. Fessy, though, relies on performance and his word, and I'm just like, I want to like him because I feel like we definitely are pretty upset with him all the time. I just don't think I can unless he does something like you said, like he owns what he's doing. He says he's doing it for personal reasons, or he says he's doing it for selfish reasons, whatever. But he just never does. But I want to hear what Diana's saying here. So Fessy hinted at an elimination with him and Horacio on a podcast earlier this season, which makes me think that it's next week or the last elimination before the final.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's very possible if because if Horacio and Olivia are just the house vote, regardless of who wins, and like let's say the three teams in the draw are Fessy, Mariah, Jordan, Anissa, and Tori Devin, or sub either any of those teams in for Bananas, Nany. Like Bananas and Nany, Jordan, Anissa, Tori Devin, I would imagine would probably save each other over Fessy and Mariah. The one exception might be if Bananas and Nany pull the dagger. But if Jordan, Tori, or Anissa, Jordan, Anissa, or Tori Devin pull the dagger and Fessy is an option, like they're going to send Fessy in against Olivia and Horacio.
100%.
So it's pretty realistic to see that being the case. That would be a really good elimination.
But Horacio has to win that one, right? Against Fessy, right?
Well, yeah, you got to break the record against Fessy.
Unless it's a hall brawl, but yeah, otherwise I'll put I don't want to speak too soon.
Wouldn't we all, Willie? Wouldn't we all? Oh my gosh.
You know what would be the best?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
The best case scenario, we get the same final elimination that we got in Final Reckoning, where Fessy and Horacio have to eat the gross milk and cookies. Fessy just can't do it. Horacio just dominates him in the eating challenge, and they win just because Fessy can't eat the cookies.
Or like he loses to Devin because Devin's just like, fuck it, I'll just eat. I don't care. Like,
yeah. That would just be so sweet, where it's like, oh, Fessy like thinks he's so good at everything, he can't eat for shit, and he gets that Tony versus Polly challenge there, and he just can't cut it, and they get sent home, and Mariah can like leave knowing it was Fessy's fault. Everyone wins. It's a great end to the story. We get Horacio and Olivia into the final. Horacio breaks the record. Fessy would definitely cry on his way out. It would be awesome.
I'm here for this. Let's put it into from our lips to God's ears, please. I wrote down job interview, and then Chauncey wants to go against Jordan because did they talk about a job interview? Like, why did I write that down?
Yeah, when they first walked in, they were like, "Oh, you're here for your job interview," because they were wearing kind of like businessy clothes. They were a little dressed up.
Like I literally forgot that. That's wild.
Yeah, Bananas said something like, "You're applying to not be the house vote," and that's when Chauncey and Amber were like, "Well, actually, we want to be the house vote." I'm just like,
so
"No,
what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Them wanting to be the house vote, and Chauncey wanted to prove himself for the fact that like he didn't actually perform in the last daily.
Sorry, you can go first.
Yeah, I mean, I never like putting yourself into an elimination. Like odds are pretty strong they would have wound up in anyways, but like I think it was pretty realistic that they could have made that Olivia and Horacio would have been the house vote. So at least you give yourself a 33% chance. So I really don't like this there. Just like you either get a 100% chance of going in or a 66% chance of going in. Like take the 66%. Like don't volunteer. And like these people already we just saw immediately after they volunteered. Like this did them no favors. Like these people don't like Amber and her volunteering to going in earned her nothing from the rest of the cast. And next season, when they're all on together, inevitably, they're just gonna say like, "Oh, like Amber is like so sneaky, like she volunteered to go in, blah blah
Yeah.
blah." It's like, come on, like you know what, Amber, never again do anything to help these people because they are
No.
never gonna look out for you.
Never, never. And also, like, if they had won and come back, they still would have used it against her. No matter what she does, it will be used as like she's doing this in a sneaky way. It's for her own selfish reasons so that she seems like a martyr and blah blah blah. And like, sure, maybe part of that could be underneath there, but why is it always with her, the first thought is always the most sneaky, the most fake, the most negative thing. Like everyone always jumps to that first, but for other people, they're given more grace, in my opinion. Like I just.
So Dabu's saying that they think that Amber checked out. Her grandmother was passing while filming, and she talked about leaving. We saw how Devin handles bereavement on what's that one?
Final Reckoning.
Final
Final
Reckoning. Yeah.
Reckoning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
Potentially, maybe she was just like whatever Chauncey wants, like it's fine. And Chauncey wanted to redeem himself if he could, by being a houseboat.
Honestly, in my opinion, okay, like maybe I'm giving her too much credit because everyone's being such assholes to her, but like you saw how annoying she was the week before when she had to pick the safe or the not safe, and she was like, I don't know which one. Are you sure you don't want to pick? And she was so stressed about that. And I just think that she's one of those people. I'm one of those people too, where like the idea of a chance and you're picking, it's like it psychs you out a little bit in a different kind of way. And I think sometimes just knowing what your fate is easier to manage mentally. If there's a super high chance you're going to have to go in anyway, no one was going to save them. So like, I do understand a little bit of that logic that like, they're just like, I just want to like get myself mentally ready. A better move is just get yourself mentally ready anyway and assume you're going in. And then by a miracle, if you don't, hey, there you go. But yeah.
If you get ready, you don't have to get ready. You stay ready or whatever.
Stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Exactly. Whatever that saying is. Just be fucking ready and you don't have to get ready, Amber. Okay?
Yeah,
and you don't have to throw yourself down there at all. Yes, Amber was like us. She is tired of the season already. I had to say these last two episodes have gotten me back into the vibe. I think it's because they brought the teens back together. I think that, I thought that I wanted to have the not so fast or whatever it's called this time around last episode, but it worked for me this episode. I thought it was pretty intense. Like I was like, ooh, who's going to win? So I will have to say that we had like maybe 4 dud episodes ish. And these last 2 for me have picked up a little bit. So I'm on an up right now. It's like if we're doing a roller coaster, we went up, and kind of went down a little bit. Now we're kind of going back up a bit. So hopefully.
It just shows like the change of format just sucks. It's like it sucked the life out of the season for 4 weeks. And like we got essentially 4 weeks of no proper eliminations. And it's no coincidence that those are like the worst 4 weeks of the season. It's like, how does production not see that? And like then they end the twist and like the season's good again. Like we enjoyed the season for the first 10 weeks. The 4 weeks in the middle were kind of shitty. And then now it's picked up the last 2. And I'm sure the final 2-3 weeks will be very entertaining as well. It just shows like you don't need 20 episode seasons. Like we can have a really strong season and have it be 14 to 16 episodes. That's the ideal length, but I mean, I understand like there's money involved and like you got to
Well, do
schedule
you know what? Do
something, but
something other than ridiculousness and figure out something else. Like, and then you don't have to have these 4 episodes to get your sponsors from whatever. I don't even know I don't even know what commercials are on during the challenge. Like, all right.
yeah.
She's Louise. Okay, Sergio has a good point though. Kenny also volunteered this season and no one batted an eye for him. I think as we just didn't actually expect him to win, or I was just like, okay, whatever, Kenny. Did they let me? They didn't even
I
give it
think
to him.
did they end up making Horacio the house
Yeah,
vote
Horacio's
there?
house vote.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's weird. But yeah, Kenny did volunteer. I mean, it's always dumb to volunteer. Like you should never volunteer because if you do volunteer, like 9 times out of 10, like they're gonna put you in. Um, and like when you, especially in a format like this where you have a chance to be safe, and like again, like it is a 33% chance, but that is not horrible. Like 33% chance, it's a lot better than 0. So take that 33 any day.
Okay, so Willie has a point here. When Jordan volunteered in Free Agents, people were excited for it, but when Amber volunteered, people get annoyed. When Jordan volunteered, like I was like, yeah, go get it, go up against Bananas, and then he lost. But it was still iconic.
But it
So
was still
what is the
iconic with the
difference?
boldness. The boldness of it was, even though it was the wrong move, it was just so. I'm just doing it.
Is it the
laying it
how?
out.
Do you think like if they were just like if they allowed them to get to the zone and Chauncey and Amber was like, we don't care, we want to be the house vote, we're walking down here, we are the vote. Like, would you think we'd respect it more?
I
No.
think the thing is about Jordan, when Jordan did it back in Free Agents, there was a massive buildup. Like it was the whole season leading up to that
It's
was
true. They're
Jordan like
back and forth.
coming for Bananas throne. Like he had thrown Bananas in, I think twice prior. He had led the charge to try to get Bananas out. They were clashing and like Jordan was like the hot new kid on the block and Bananas was like the wily vet that Jordan was trying to dethrone. So if Amber, say, was feuding with Anissa all season, or
Fessy,
feuding with Jordan and Anissa, and Amber said, "Throw me in, like I want to be the one to take
take
out
them out.
like big bad Jordan and Anissa, like the elimination king and queen," then it would be a different story. But Amber, like, seemingly was just doing it to be nice, like to kind of like, "Oh, you know what,
I
like
don't
we
want
want
people
to
to be
prove
mad at
ourselves."
me, so yeah.
Yeah, so I think the epicness of Jordan was more the build up and like that, like trying to dethrone the king of the challenge, where Amber like didn't really have a reason to be doing it,
I agree.
which made it much more lackluster.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Agreed.
womp womp. So Bananas tells Tori and Devin when they come in that Amber is wanting to throw themselves in, and Devin does give her props, saying that Amber is playing checkers, not chess, or chess, not checkers. I didn't really see this, but did either of you guys think that she's playing some sort of masterful game?
He always thinks that she's doing more than she is.
More credit,
And
yeah.
I think that if she was, we would be seeing it in the confessionals in some kind of way. I don't think she's even thinking of this. I'm sure that she's thinking of her edit and wanting to come across as a good person, for sure. Like, I'm sure that there's part of it that you got to put yourself on, you got to seem a certain way. But you're telling me that Amber, who we've seen never have strategy, is strategizing to be like, ooh, if I do this, it's going to come across this way. And this is going to be really helpful for me. If she was doing that, like, why aren't we hearing that? Like, because that's strategy. She doesn't even think of that. He thinks of everything.
Right.
So he's doing that classic overthinking, thinking the other person is doing all these things.
Or what he would be doing.
What he would be doing. Or he doesn't think she's doing this, but he's using it as an excuse to be like,
That's exactly what I think, Michelle. I think Devin is like, he is playing like a very brilliant game for one season, but like what he's doing here is like, oh, Amber's playing chess, not checkers. Like she's obviously like this like huge, like sneaky, like strategic force. And like we can't let her do this, blah, blah, blah. Because like he's trying to protect himself. So like if Amber comes back next week, she is again the target and not him. And he can like slide his way into the final.
Fair.
But I think moving forward, people are going to clock this like from Devin, like because it has been successful this season. And I don't know if he's going to be able to like have the same success next season. Like he did this with Michelle earlier on, like putting targets on her, now
Fair.
putting a target on Amber. And like I know they don't have the most numbers, but Amber and Michelle have each other. They have Jay, they have Johnny if he comes back. They have, I mean, if Polly were to ever come back, like those are the like they have those people, and they're all watching this back and they see that it's not Amber that's being the sneaky one. It's Devin being sneaky and trying to paint a target on people like Amber and Michelle and Jay, who are not really doing anything that bad at all. So I do think it's Devin playing chess, not checkers, but trying to make it seem like other people are
That's a
playing
good
chess,
point.
not checkers.
That's a really good point, that he's just trying to make himself look not as like smart so he can get to the end. Yeah, I can see that actually 100%. Jordan and Nisa in the interrogation, obviously told by Banani that Amber and Chauncey have nominated themselves. And then we see, I don't know if it's a confessional, if it's a sound or a voiceover, that I think it was Anissa that says people that nominate themselves go home, obviously knowing that Jordan nominated himself and did end up going home. And I was like, oh, I wonder if this is just a little foreshadowing. Next up is Nany, and Nany tells Olivia and Horacio that Amber and Chauncey did put themselves in. And I wrote down well-rounded team. I guess it's Olivia and Horacio are a well-rounded team.
Also, Banana says you guys are the most well-rounded team.
Okay, so that's who said it. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't write down who said it because I thought I'd remember, but I didn't. So thank you, Michelle. So after all the interrogations, we see Olivia and Fessy talking, and it seemed to me that Fessy did not want to be there. Like he did not want to have this conversation with Olivia. But Olivia does say that Horacio fell short in his original show that he played on right before the final. So do you think that this is foreshadowing, or yeah, we're nodding. So you don't think that they're gonna get to the end? No.
I
That's
hope
when I
that
thought,
they do. I hope
yeah.
that they do. That's ideal. I don't see it happening, but I hope I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. I was wrong last week, so.
Sorry, pause before you say anything, Matthew. I thought this was funny. Mary's saying that Devin is girl boss, gatekeep, gaslight, royalty.
100%.
He kind of is.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that's an accurate statement.
It's true. And yeah, what I was gonna say is when Olivia said that, that's when I was thinking like, oh, it's for sure gonna be Olivia and Horacio this week going in, and I thought they were gonna lose this week. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if they lost next week. Unfortunately, like I really want Horacio to get that record. But yeah, like there's a lot of these like foreshadowing about Olivia and Horacio like having some sort of like breakdown at some point. I hope they can get to the finals, but I wouldn't be surprised ultimately. Like if we see Horacio and Olivia against Fessy and Mariah, I wouldn't be shocked if Fessy and Mariah were to win that one.
I don't want it though at all. I mean, we do see Fessy saying like everybody's here for something, and at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, I think that Fessy or Horacio and Olivia are going to be going home this episode. That's what I actually was thinking at that particular point, especially with Fessy saying that. But I want them to take out Fessy. I don't think it's going to happen, but I want them to next episode, hopefully, or the one after. So Chauncey is actually not loving everyone. He's like, I don't love everyone that's here.
He's so real. He's great.
Who do you think he was referring to, though? I'm guessing maybe Devin.
Who has thrown him in?
And Anissa has thrown him in.
Yeah, I don't think she cares.
Yeah.
Who's in power right now? Does he like
Bananas
and Nany? How does he feel about Bananas?
I mean, he saved Bananas and sent Nelson in instead, but I think he didn't have a great relationship with Nelson.
Yeah, Nelson.
I imagine Chauncey probably doesn't love Fessy just based on how he's treated Amber in the past.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess there's a few potential people Chauncey may not love.
Very true. But you're my best friend. So they have their moment. You're my best friend. Do we think we're getting okay? Now that we're getting further into the season, will we get a proposal at the reunion?
For who?
I don't think so.
For who?
Chauncey and Amber.
Monty and Amber.
Oh no, because they're not engaged right now. I mean, unless they
A
do.
proposal is an engagement.
No, I know, but they're together now in real life and they're not engaged. So
maybe they're holding their rings away.
Maybe they do live together. I don't think so, because in interviews when they've asked him about it, he's kind of been like, we have a plan. Like she's always like, we're gonna have kids, we're gonna get married, and he's always like, yeah, like we're together and things will happen. But he's 10 years younger than her, so I'm sure
11, I think.
11, whatever. He's in less of a rush than she is, but we'll see.
I think Amber just had a birthday. I think she just turned 35. So happy birthday, Queen Amber. And I think Chauncey had turned 24 like a week before.
Mm-hmm.
This is what this show does, is make us have be advocates and stands for people like Amber. Like I was fine to be like, yeah, she can be kind of this, kind of that. But when you lay it on Devin, that makes me root for her more, because you're treating her so awful. She doesn't deserve that.
I totally
wasn't just
agree.
Devin though. Anissa and Tori too.
Yeah.
I thought the way that I thought the way Anissa was talking about Amber was a little bit off-putting as well.
Mm-hmm.
She continuously was saying in her confessionals, we know what you're doing, Amber. You're not gonna get one past us. We you're being super sneaky, blah blah blah. It's I mean, she's literally helping you out. She's lowering your chances of going in. Just be happy, Anissa. Even if she was even if she did have ulterior motives, I mean, at the end of the day, honestly, I think I thought it was a decent episode for Anissa too, but I wouldn't mind a break from Anissa for a season or two. A lot of these people, I think I like when we got a break from Josh this season, which was nice. And if Josh were to come back next season, I honestly wouldn't mind, but let's take away a couple people each season, give them a season off and just have different dynamics, because just Anissa Tori together where they can just kind of run the show, and obviously they don't like Amber that much. It kind of rattles me.
Same. And also this is why I say we, but I mean me, continue to love Wes, because he knows not to do every season. He knows to make his
people
mark.
Want you more, yeah.
Either he wins or loses. Either he gets eliminated early, he makes it far,
he comes back, people
or he wins. We're so excited to see him back. He's gonna do fun stuff, right? If
even
Devin
Bananas this season,
but
same thing.
If Devin didn't do next season and then he came back, I'd be even more excited to see him again. So you don't need these people every season. As long as you have some good, they have a lot of people to pick from. So yeah, I agree with you completely.
How dare you, Dabu? I'm watching The Bachelor too much. Okay, my first proposal was way back in 2005 or something, and it was Rob proposing to Amber at the finale of Survivor. Okay, that's when I remember it happening, and I was into it. So just saying, it had nothing to do with The Bachelor, even though I watched every season, every episode of The Bachelor. It was Rob proposing to Amber at the finale that got me into that being a possibility. Okay.
Honestly, if you want to find love on reality TV, go on any show but The Bachelor. I think there's more successful relationships from Survivor and Big Brother than The Bachelor franchise.
Absolutely. There's only one couple on the male side that are still together that picked their original person. Their winner.
Yeah, Bachelor in Paradise, there's a few. But so yeah, Survivor, there's probably 6 or 7 couples. Big Brother, there's 6 or 5, 5, 6, 7 couples. If you want a proposal, maybe The Challenge is the right spot for you.
That's what I'm thinking.
Not The Bachelor.
Or like maybe they're both going to be on the Challenge USA next season and they'll do it there. But
Oh, Jesus.
you never know. You never know. Okay, so let's get through the rest of this episode. Anissa wants to break the curse. Of course, she wants to break the curse. Get to a final, maybe win one. I don't think it's happening for you, Anissa, but if it does, I probably would be decently happy for you just to be like, okay, does that mean we don't have to see anymore?
She hasn't been to a final in 13 years if we don't include All-Stars.
I don't include All-Stars.
Yeah, so yeah, she hasn't been to a final in 13 years. So for her to make it to that final is like what I think Jordan's goal is. He must know that winning is, he will not try. He will always give 1,000%, which is what he showed in this amazing elimination again. And by amazing, I mean his round.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the zone. So obviously they do choose Mariah and Fessy to be safe here. And I was thinking, I'm like, look at this. Mariah did something for Fessy. Hopefully he recognizes this because her relationship was probably very helpful to them being saved here. But he probably won't really notice this. Chauncey and Amber nominate themselves, so they go down. And Anissa just thinking like, oh, the noble pair, and thinking it's all bullshit. I mean, I think that the producers were probably asking her, how do you feel about it? And she just said something, and that's the soundbite. But I guess I totally agree with you, Matthew, with how you're kind of representing why we don't care so much about, or I don't even care so much about this decision. It's because it's like they don't have this feud, and it's not like I'm doing this to be defiant, and like, it just seems a little bit, I don't know. I just don't know what she's trying to get out of it. So I kind of understand why they're annoyed by it, but it's just, I don't know. I wish Amber just knew how to deal with these people better. It's kind of like, so Drew from Angel Cake Entertainment, he just put out part 1 of this Cara Maria season that like Cara Maria, like her whole arc from before she got into the real world, onto Fresh Meat until now. And so it's part 1. And I haven't seen it all yet because I had to leave. But what's really interesting is just trying to understand how she became the target and like how people were just like not wanting to play with her and why she was like against everybody, because she was just like this nice girl that loved horses.
It was after she won.
You think? No, it wasn't.
I feel
when Wes put the coke on her, she had already won.
No, she hadn't won at that point.
No, she hadn't won at that point. But I think like she was always getting like shit on like that, but after she won, I feel like it kind of became even more polarizing, where it was like she had some momentum, but the people who were against her were really against her. But then, I don't know. But when she was getting like the coke poured on her and all that, I was so on Cara's side. And then even Laurel defends her, all of that. I was totally a Cara like advocate. And then like once she was in the driver's seat, I didn't really like what she became. It could have been what her edit became. It could have been the influence. It could have been so many different factors. So I don't know, but I'm excited at the potential of seeing her back. I'm
happy to see her back. I don't like Polly, but I like Cara Maria.
But Polly's not coming back, is he?
No, exactly. So I'm saying, like, it was the pair of them. I've never really had a problem with Cara Maria.
Yeah.
I really liked when her and Abram got together that season, when there's like these two weirdos and like they were riding for each other. Like I was into that. But obviously their relationship is quite messed up now, and I don't like her relationship with Polly at all, and like the side of her that he's brought out of her. But on her own, I'm interested in seeing how she's changed, evolved, hasn't changed, how she's going to play the game. I'm definitely looking forward to All Stars 4. So
me too. Woo!
We should talk soon about the cast. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to kind of break that cast down, but I do think Amber I think the Amber Cara comparison is like pretty fair. I think it's a pretty fair comparison there, where like I think the similarities to the early stage Cara is like both of them were like very happy to be there, but people like kind of picked on them in a way because they were like too nice in a way, and like they didn't really fit in with like the MTV crew. Um, because they were just like way nicer than everyone around them. So it made them like an easy target where like obviously they were both physical, they were both strong competitors. But yeah, I think what Amber needs to do moving forward is have that like arc that Cara kind of had as she started to win,
I don't
where
fucking
she,
care.
yeah, like start standing up for yourself more, like find your people and like ride with those people and just like say like fuck you to the man, right? It's like, you know what, like these people don't want to work with me. I'm a
Fuck
strong
you.
physical competitor. Here are my people and we're taking you out. Like that's like what I think she needs to do, which is what Cara did when, and then Cara started to win. I think Cara made what, 4 finals in a row, 5 finals in a row. Like she was crushing it for like a span of like 6, 7 seasons. And I think Amber has that potential. She just needs to be standing up
Not
for
care.
herself
She needs
more.
to not care about what other
Yeah.
people think, how they treat her, not be so emotionally invested in people's opinion of her and what they do to her in the game, and don't allow her morality to be how she judges what other people are going to do. Just be like, everybody else is an asshole. I'm going to do things the way I'm going to do it, and not be affected if they don't do things how
Yeah.
I would do it or how she would do it.
I
Like
agree. And
they're
that's
both very they were both very emotional in their early seasons. I mean, Amber still is, but Cara was very emotional, and then she became like a stone cold killer. And like I would love for Amber to have that turn as well. Only thing I'm worried about with Amber is like when this happened with Cara, like she was much younger. Like Amber
It's like,
is like,
yeah, in her
well,
20s.
like we mentioned, she's 35. Like, is Amber going to be around the challenge in 5 years, or does she have like 2, 3
no.
years left that she's going to be
I think
she's
she's
going to
gonna
be
have a
with?
baby soon. Like I don't know. I see her doing like one or
Oh
two
my god,
more.
okay, do you think there's going to be an announcement at the reunion that she's pregnant?
No.
I don't think so either. Just kidding. I agree, Mary. I would love to see an Amber Villainaire, and I think that that's what we all really want from her, because we think that she's really good competitively. She has the potential to be a champion, but she kind of just wants to play with everybody else. And with the cast that she's been given these last few seasons, she doesn't have the people that want to work with her. So she needs to find, as you're saying, Matthew, the few that do want to work with her and go and just be badass. And so I don't know if she can, because it seems like she wants people to like her too much. But if she didn't care as much, I think she could do a lot better. So, lastly, for the dagger pull, we have Anissa pulling the blank dagger and Horacio pulling the safe dagger. I was like, oh, wow. And they saved Tori and Devin. I was actually surprised by this, and so was Jordan. We hear Jordan being like, he has a soft spot for the kid. I kind of think that not that he didn't play his hardest, but I think that he wasn't mad at Horacio. So he allowed Horacio to kind of beat him the last time around. I know we hear that he said like, oh, I thought it was best of 5, and then it was best first to 3, or first to 2, or best out of 3, whatever it was. But I think that maybe some of his intensity wasn't there because he did have a friendship with Horacio. And so do you think that Horacio did that because he didn't want to go up against Jordan in a final, or
No.
what?
I knew immediately he was gonna pick Devin and Tori. The first reason is because Devin looked way too comfortable. And when Jordan was like, yeah, like hopefully they save us, or Anissa was like, hopefully, like Devin always knows. Like he will know what teams are saving him. And he went into that draw knowing both teams were going to save him. He would not have gone without confirming that, first of all. And second of all, as Horacio said, like Anissa has voted against him multiple times. And so it just makes more sense, I think, for them to make that choice. I think if Jordan was on his own, he wouldn't have done that.
Okay, fair statement. So I was shocked. Whoa, Horacio. And they're playing Rumble Tumble. So they're gonna be back to back in rounds or heats, male heats, female heats, and they have to basically knock over their 3 stacks. Anissa and who was it? Who are they? Oh, and Amber were up
Amber.
first. And okay, it wasn't fairly matched up. So we usually talk about like in hall brawls where like people are not matched up size wise. Definitely both times that the teams weren't evenly matched size wise. Anissa probably had about 40 pounds, maybe more on Amber, and then on what Jordan even said it. How many pounds did
30 pounds at
30?
least, I think.
That's a lot of weight. So how do we feel about it being it wasn't balanced weight wise for these both of these
Yeah, but it was strategy, right? Like Amber didn't have a strategy. And so she was never going to win. It was an uphill battle, but she is so much faster and has really long limbs. And if she had done exactly what Jordan did and gone to the side when Anissa went straight, it's potential she could have done that. But she doesn't think that way. Most people don't freaking think that way. Jordan was so bold to allow Chauncey to get 2 out of 3 of his things. I was like shook at the end there because I was like, I can't believe he's doing this. He just had his strategy down. But yeah, I'm happy for Anissa, but it was very obvious because like there was just no chance that Amber was gonna get a hold of it.
It was a little banana backpack situation. I know that Anissa even alluded to it in one of her confessionals. And I did actually laugh when Jordan was supporting her and she's like, I know. And then Tori was supporting her. She's like, shut up. Like, I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. She has her moments.
She got a win. I was happy that she got her win here.
Yeah.
Matthew, do you have thoughts about it or no?
I mean, like obviously there is going to be like it's going to slightly favor or significantly favor like someone that has more weight on them. That said, both of you had alluded to, or both of you had said, Jordan had less weight on Chauncey. So, I mean, there was that same advantage on the other side, but like I don't like Jordan like physically is stronger than Amber. So I mean, like I think there was more of an advantage for Anissa, but at the end of the day, like I'm not super upset about it because we literally saw like Anissa and Jordan in an elimination at the start of the episode where size was a negative for them and they still managed to win. So like sometimes it's just kind of luck of the draw there. It is what it is. Like we can't really like expect them to take out all the physicalness of the elimination. So overall, like I think it was a good like unique challenge. We haven't really seen like I don't think we've ever seen this exact elimination before. So I thought it was a good elimination. I thought Jordan was extremely impressive there. But yeah, like Anissa too, and like she had an advantage and she won 3-0. So it very, very impressive and no real major issues with it.
Well, and Jordan was super cocky in his confessionals. That's probably after he won. He was saying, and he's like, I won. I might as well be fucking cocky about it. He's like, I'm going to teach you something tonight. And he's like, I'm going to stand here. And you go, like, you're going to go this way. I know you're going straight. So I'm going to go, like,
I was worried, even though we saw the same thing when he went with the rope against Josh and he talked us through the whole scenario and it was amazing. I was worried that it was too much and that he was too confident. And when they both got 2, I was like, and then he slipped or whatever. I was like, oh God. I was looking away. And then when he takes his foot and just moves it, I was like, oh, you're so smart. Like, beyond everything against you, as long as it's not literally just a pole or whatever, you're gonna figure out a way to do it. And he doesn't even want to be there anymore at this point.
I know, right?
He's only doing it to fulfill the thing for Anissa. And he's not even that close. Like, I mean, I know they've gotten close and all that, but like,
I mean, it would be pretty badass to say, like, I got Anissa her first win out of fucking 20 seasons or however many she's done. Like, that's a nice little stat to have. And he'd also take home another $500,000. I'm sure he's not upset with that being a potential option. TJ was riding for Jordan in this elimination. He's like, look at this guy. Like, he was really excited about seeing how well Jordan was doing. So I definitely enjoyed seeing that. I thought that there might have been at least another round. Like they had to,
I was
but
worried. Yeah.
they didn't. So Aneesa won her round. Jordan won his round. It was over. Chauncey and Amber are going home. And TJ says, I'm positive we are going to see you, Amber. And you, Chauncey. Like, it was like, I don't think we're seeing Chauncey again from his response. I think that he expects to see Amber again because Amber's strong. She's also somebody that people are against. So it's going to be until she wins another final. Like, she's going to come back, I think, over and over again.
I think he was honest. I think he specifically was like, I want to point you out, Chauncey, as well. I read it. I read it the opposite. I read it as like, you're going to be back.
I read it that he didn't really want to say.
No, because he said, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's like loves him or anything like that, but he's young, he's in shape, he's made it really far as a rookie. Especially if him and Amber break up down the road, he's got a lot of potential to have other storylines as well. He's a nice guy. Like, I see him coming back. He's not like top of the roster, but he's definitely at least an alternate every time, I think, for the next little bit.
What
you felt okay? Maybe I read it wrong. I must have listened. I must have like just perceived it incorrectly.
I'll put up the clip. I mean, I don't disregard what you might have experienced there, but I felt that he didn't want to say it.
If multiple people are feeling this way, then
I mean, his last experience with him was quitting, and then he lost to Jordan, where he should have won weight-wise. Like, I mean, just knowing TJ.
But it was sweet when he cried. I was like, oh, poor boy.
Yes, he did cry. He was choking up, and this is my person. We get it. But I don't know. I just don't know if TJ cares that much if he comes back at all.
Yeah, I personally don't think we'll see him back. I just think
we have to break the tie here, though, like between me and Michelle. Do you think that he was reluctantly saying that he wanted to see Chauncey back, or do you think that he was being genuine?
Yeah, I think it was more reluctant. Like, I mean, like, we're definitely going to see Amber V back. So I think it would be kind of like a dick move for TJ to be like, Amber will definitely see you back, and like Chauncey will see about you. So I think like more reluctant, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think we just have so many rookies from the last couple seasons, and like
they'll bring back one
much. Yeah, like they'll end up bringing back just a handful of these past few seasons, and like there's definitely better choices than him, and I think the show will realize that as well. Like I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to him coming back, but I think it's more likely that we don't see him than do.
Well, second to lastly, TJ kind of fakes them out talking about the finals. Not yet. So we're not at the final yet. I think that there's going to be, do you think there's going to be one or two more episodes before the final?
I think one.
One, and then would it be like a 3-part final?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like one would be 6.
It could be. I hope the next episode doesn't end on like a cliffhanger, and then
actually
that would be the worst case scenario. But it is possible.
It is possible. Oh boy. So then the real lastly is, who is our MVP for this episode? Is it Aneesa?
No, it's Jordan.
No.
Are you kidding?
I was actually gonna say Nany. But I mean, good episode. Like
Nany, why Nany? Because they won.
Jordan had the most confessionals, 2 really awesome elimination things. He ran that not elimination. He pushed Aneesa through. He got Aneesa through these tiny ass holes. He got her that win. After just coming back, after just getting eliminated, he didn't want to be, he just brought so much game.
But if Aneesa didn't win her part of the final elimination, they might not have won a second, like, you know what I mean? Like,
if he went against Chauncey again, a second time,
he might not have won the second time, or if she had gone again against Amber and lost the second time.
But how could she have ever lost against Amber? Like, how?
Well, she was fatigued for the fact that she just did 2 back-to-back finals.
But how could she have lost the first time? She never would have lost against her. But and my point is like, she did do well, but like, what did she do to be the MVP? Like, it's not MVP to just win an elimination. You have to win it in an iconic way, in my opinion. And I feel like his performance was just a little more iconic than hers. While she still has the same amount of wins as him. But I mean, she had 1 or 2 funny confessionals, 1 or 2 kind of rude ones. I don't know.
I just think with Nany, like she like obviously like she had like the emotional content with like
True.
her kind of overcoming Kaycee leaving, like great moment with Bananas, like obviously won
They're
the
cute in
daily.
the bus. Like after
Yeah.
they finish it, they're like, I don't even care.
And
I
like,
love
she
you.
did do a good job with memorizing the colors, if that was correct, and I'm sure it was.
Yeah, like Jordan was like the most impressive, I'd say, in terms of like his strategy in this, like primarily the second elimination was like super impressive. Um, but I think I don't know. Yeah,
I
not
think
opposed to Jordan.
I think
I feel like
Jordan for
Jordan.
me is how I've been convinced for the fact that I was like, why Nany? Like I had to think like why Nany, and I didn't have to think why Jordan. Like it was pretty obvious why
My only
Jordan.
thing is they didn't show any like. Did they show him and Tori reconnecting at all, or
No, they
like?
didn't show
No, they
any.
didn't. Honestly, not
They're like, we've
not
shown you
about that.
enough. Yeah.
It's done. It's done. It's done. Then in my opinion, I think Jordan does, and we got 1 vote from Lena over here.
I feel
I
like
think
Jordan has a lot of MVPs this season.
He's played an MVP season. You know?
he's done a good job. He's done
And
a
I
good
don't think
job.
Bananas has a single MVP.
No,
that
might
I
I
can
think
recall.
No. But
I think
he
Nany
hasn't
got the
had to
first
he
one.
hasn't had to like go into an
He
elimination.
doesn't do anything.
He hasn't had much of a storyline, and he
He
even
hasn't
talks
won anything.
he talks about it too in his podcast, that like they're not showing a lot of the stuff that he was part of. They're not showing his storyline with Mariah. They're not showing like a lot of different things. So maybe his time will come, but yeah, he hasn't really had an MVP episode. That's the editor's fault.
Absolutely. Well, Jordan is going to take the MVP for episode 15. Anything that we didn't talk about?
I don't know. I think that covers it. Just I guess we'll all be speculating on what's to come next. But if you are interested in casting news, anyone listening, you can check out the All Stars forecast. Super exciting and pretty strong cast, especially on the female side. Yeah, I guess
And
we'll find some time
maybe
to chat
next
about
week
that
I'll
in the coming weeks.
convince Matthew to talk about it with me, and if Michelle wants to join, we might get a crew together to talk about this cast that's been dropped. It seems like it's official so far. And also, just to pique your guys' interest, Fanta let me know that she might have slid into someone from this season's DMs to see if they will come and chat with us. So somebody that Fanta is excited by as a competitor said yes to chatting with us about their rookie season of the Challenge 38. So I'll just let that linger for a little bit. Michelle, do you have anything to say before we sign off for tonight?
No, just
I hope it's Tamara.
I can't even think of who my immediate thought for Fanta goes to like Mariah or Olivia or Nerys. I don't know. It's hard for me to say.
Well,
I think I would literally pass out if I spoke to Nerys. Yeah, I would not have words. I'd just be in awe. So it would be quite the experience, but I'd probably buckle up.
well, you all might pass out. Fanta will definitely pass out with this one. And I can't wait to
It's
figure out
gotta be Nerys.
when it's going to happen. So make sure everybody here in the chat tunes in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please like this video and leave a comment as to who you think Fanta has got to come and chat with us on this.
Keep in mind, one of her favorite challenge crushes is Nany. So keep that in mind. I mean, she's got a couple, but like she's up there for sure. I can't off the top of my head think of who else is, but
And I'm also thinking whether or not I tell you about the truth. I love you both. I love everybody here in the chat. Thank you for being here, and we'll be in touch. And next time, ciao.